So I have stuff about June that Gina had wanted me to talk about.
Okay,
I'll make it quick. But it's
That's fine.
just
that's fine. So, as you can see, Gina is not here for announcements, but Janice does have an announcement to do.
Well, a lot of you have been hearing little bits and pieces about this mysterious but wonderful event that we're all doing in June. And a number of us have been absent different weekends and that kind of thing, so I thought I'd just put it all on one quick but video announcement. In June, on the 26th, which is a Thursday, we, plus members of Voices from Voices Rising, and 8 wonderful readers are going to recreate Johnson Post's piece called Lifting as We Climb, which is a history of women's suffrage, women's suffrage in the States, plus a reminder that women's voices are still being suppressed. And so it's sort of very historical and very poignant, especially for our time. So we're very happy to be presenting this. It's going to be accompanied by an hour-long film called, is that the name of the film also? No, it's yeah, whatever. Anyway, the film is also, it's more of a documentary. Really, really interesting. So the audience will get this great historical document, and then in the second half they get to hear us, and the readers recreate this very dramatic, very uplifting, great piece. So we're hoping that all of you can come and save the date. We have two other kinds of dates to keep track of that are not set. One is the dress rehearsal, which will happen on either the Tuesday or Wednesday, right before the performance. And it's June 26th? June 26th. And I'm going to make one of these for everybody so you can actually take it home. It's very hard to carry all this in your head.
What time is the actual event?
The actual event, I think, is at 7. I think we went over
PM
there.
anyway.
PM, yeah, it's PM.
It's in the evening on Thursday.
Thursday evening.
In the last Thursday of June. So
And
any of you who have church stuff, you probably will be not still doing.
Yeah, right, choirs. And
At least I'm not.
It will be held at the Arlington Friends of the Drama, which is just right over there. Lovely theater. Seats 192 people. We want to fill every seat, every piece. So there'll be a dress rehearsal that week. There'll also be
Some number to be determined of choral rehearsals. To some of you sang the piece 2 years ago, others of you did not. So the music is not terribly difficult, and even though it's a fairly long piece, I think it's about 30 minutes or so. More of that is talking than singing. I think it's only about 13 minutes of choral music, so it's not a lot of music to learn. So I'm confident that we can, between the folks who sang it 2 years ago and new folks, I'm confident that we can learn it in, I don't know, 2 or 3 rehearsals or something like that.
And there are several versions on YouTube. We have a recording of ours itself doing it. You might make, I don't know if you're going to make any little.
I don't know that I have access to that, so that's not my recording. So
No, I meant about setting out, like the way you have musical resources for us to listen to outside.
Sure, I can do that. Yeah.
Anyway, so please do save the dates. And again, we're not sure if it's going to be on Monday nights, but whatever there'll be some lead up time. And it's something that you want to bring friends to, bring relations to. And like I said, I will make very quick copies of this and I'll give them to everybody just so you have the beginning of it. And we'll send out once we have the actual dates for the regular rehearsals leading up to and the dress rehearsal. So that's it.
So the biggest takeaway is save the date of June 26th. I'm hoping that most of you can do that. I don't, I imagine that a few of you may be away or whatever. It's outside of the scope of our regular season. But if you can take a look at your calendars, and pretty soon we will get a head count of who's in for it. Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you, Janice. Oh, disappeared. In absentia. Thank you, Janice. All right. We are going to work on Arirang. We're going to finish this thing up. We were only like a page away from it last week. So, but what I would like to do before we do the last little bit of text, I want to sing through, starting on page 11, at the bottom, we're going to sing through without the text just to isolate just the musical part of it. We're just going to sing on do-do-do. And sopranos, when it gets high, just modify that. Remember that this is a high, middle, low split. So here we go. 2, 3. So let's actually go all the way back to after the key change. I know that was abrupt, but you will hear in between there something to help you with that key change. Let's just go right on 81 with the low part. And 1. The highs and the middles, right on 89. 2, 3. Yeah, so just coming down that third there, not what we necessarily expect. Right, and then the lows by yourselves, yours is a little easier. 2, 3. Good. Everybody at 89 to the end. 2, 3. Good. Let's go back all the way to 59 once again, and let's try it with the accompaniment still on a neutral syllable. Sopranos, that do might be tricky, so you can modify that to da or something. All right, sitting up, everybody. Maybe we need to do a little of this. Here we go. 2, 3. Go from 78 to 3. So low part, you're going to hear that G very prominently on that downbeat. So you really need to listen for that G that you hear on that downbeat, and then be ready to go right from that. Just listen to the piano at 80 and then singing in 81. So we were just shy of getting the rest of the text. I think we left off, if I'm not mistaken, at the top of 14. Do you have the text written in there? Awesome, great. So we really only have like one phrase left to go. And by now you already are familiar with the arirang, right, that you start off with. So the rest of it we have arum, ka, un, na, ye, o, mo, ni. We've had that word like over and over again, right? We learned that means mother. And then sarang, he, yo. So that it's not too tricky at the end there. The only thing that was a little bit surprising is that E-E-H was ye. I wasn't expecting that. All right, so let's see if we can go right from 81 to the end with that text, and then we'll work our way back. And one. Measure 86. I'm just not sure about those moving notes. I heard a little difference of opinion about that. 2, 3. Yeah. So here's one of those times where we want to make sure that going down we're making little steps, going up we're making big steps, right? All right. Good. Let's back up to, let's see. Let's go all the way back to 11, page 11. And that text we already did. So let's sing that with the text from 59 to and. So highs, you're just kind of floating over that, right? That's not the main thing here. Here we go. High, middles, and lows. 2 and. Yeah, so we have mo, ni, u, un, he. Mo, ni, u, un, he. So we have to kind of get that in quickly. O, mo, ni, u, un, he. All right, let's hear that again. Back to malhal. 2, 3. Good. This time let's add the highs on top of that, but highs, make sure that you can hear that other part so that we make sure that the balance is there. 2 and. Starting in 67, just speaking text only in rhythm. 2, 3. just making sure we get, especially in measure 69, making sure we get all those syllables in there. Singing that, same thing, and 67. 2, 3. Quarter notey, right? But there are a few places where you have a dotted rhythm like you have in 79. Just a few of them. And if we can just give a little bit more rhythm to that. So, nom, o, con. Make sure we just, instead of kind of glossing through it, nom, o, con. Do you hear the, o, con. That's what I have written down. Nom, o, con, ta. Right, so singing right there at ko, ke, measure 78, to, an. Keep going. Make sure that we're not kind of punching that sa, rang. We don't want that. We want sa, rang. Just touch it and let go. All right, that's all we're going to do on that. Please, if you haven't yet, go through with the pronunciation guide and make sure that what you have written in your score makes sense to you, and B is correct to how you hear it spoken in the recording. All right, moving on to It Takes a Village. I haven't mentioned this, but this does have a solo in it. I will schedule a time to hear people on this solo very soon. So if you're interested in this, please do start to take a look at it. I would certainly consider splitting the solo into more than one. Probably at a max 2, I think would make sense. So take a listen to that on the recording, play through it, and see if that's something that you're interested in doing. So that's, the solo is here at the beginning and then comes back in on page 7. Makes it look like there's 4 soloists, but there's not. It's just one soloist going through. But I think it could easily be a back and forth between 2 soloists. So if there's enough interest, I would consider splitting that out. All right, but what we're going to do right now is we are going to sing from measure 25, which is where the solo has ended, and this is choral here. We're going to hopefully sing from here all the way to the end, and we'll just have to fill in our mind's ear the percussion in some of the measures that are just percussion. All right, here we go. And 1. Yeah. So altos lay out until 29. I like your enthusiasm though. And 1. One. You're still holding 1, 2, and da, dee, da, 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 ba, ba. All right, sorry, right there, right at 45, and thing that will help you is always check in on the downbeat. Look up and make sure you're with me and that you're not like rushing a little bit ahead. And then alto 2s, watch me for that entrance. I think we had some coming in earlier. All right, back to 45. Let's start there. And sopranos, you skipped over the top two. So we sing the 77 four times and then 2 more times on that. Yeah. Yeah. And it will be easier to tell when we have the solo in there, right? So alto 2s especially, I mean everybody, but we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, last time we did this. It's really, really important that you mark those places where your pattern changes, right? And hopefully I'm not going to take the time to go through all of those places, but because we did that previously. But hopefully you have that. Alto 2s especially, because you're kind of grounding us, and you're sort of shifting between one, every one, and then sometimes you're on the beat. So make sure you especially really know, even if you don't get the rest of it, know whether you're on the beat or off the beat, okay? Because that's super, super important. All right, let's just pick it up at 73, and maybe Allison, when we get to 77, if you can play the melody line, I tried to sing it, but I did a bad job of it. So. All right, here we go. It's 73. This is before we get to this repeated section. Don't forget, when you turn the page over to the next, we're also going to repeat those bars a total of 2 times. And then finally, we get to stop singing that. Hey, hey, hey. And, there's a percussion kind of ending to that. All right, let's just quickly look at the harmony when we finally come out of that. Let's take it at 93, a little bit before that, with the second alto pickup into that. So this is the very last two notes at the bottom of 8, alto 2s. Everyone. And 1, 2. Yeah, that's what I'm listening for. Let me hear just the upper 3 parts must share the burden. We're going to do it slowly, so we make sure we have the right harmony. And 1. Good. Yeah, good. I just wasn't sure about that. All right, let's take it same place, pick up to 93. 1, 2. Out of your everyone, and then you now have actual sort of more harmony part there. So let me hear alto 2s pick up to 95 and then beyond that. 1, 2. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1. Good, let's do that one more time just so we're really confident on that. I'm just doing alto 2s.
I know. Where are we starting?
They're at pick up to 95. Pick up to 95, but just the alto 2s. 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So I just want to make sure that you kind of have that mental preparation to come out of that everyone. Oh, now I'm doing something else, right? So just be ready for that. Good, let's go back to 85 to the end. With the pickup. Pick up to 85. 1, 2. To the end of that, and we all kind of know what we're doing. Please take me seriously. If you have not marked in your score those places where your part changes pattern, just do it. Even if you think you don't need to. Do it. All right, good. And the last thing that we're going to do is just take a quick look at in the Mother Earth songs, the Mother to Son, the Langston Hughes one. Number 3. Good rehearsal tonight, folks. I was worried because we have so many people out. I was not sure how, it's always a little bit weird, but you did a really good job. And I was really pleased with how Laura's piece went. I feel like I think you must have taken me seriously and done some work on it over the weekend, and I appreciate that.
It helps to have like a composer.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you if have you enjoyed having the chance to talk about the composers? Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? Yeah. It's to kind of find out what was in their brains or whatever. And I think it's really great. It's a wonderful experience to work with living composers. Oh, you know what? I didn't even look at my plan. I didn't want to do it from the beginning. I wanted to look at something towards the end, and then we'll go back to the beginning. Oh, I'm tired. Let's go to measure 57, which is on page 17. Actually, with the pickup there, so pick up to 57. That's what I wanted to make sure that we had there. Sopranos on that end live. Again, you know, we've been talking a lot this semester about vowels and kind of making this space. So that's a great example right there of one of those places where, just like in our warm-up, when we just did this to kind of keep ourselves open and relaxed. Of course, you know, here it is now at 9:30 in the evening. That's a lot harder to do. But just, you know, kind of as we think about an approach to this section when it's not at the end of, you know, at 9:30. Although I guess our concert is in the evening, so we might be tired. So just keeping that open, and then what do we have after that? High note sopranos. We have a descending line, right? So we know that we need to, like, you know, kind of, and not only do we have a descending line, but it has a third in it. All the things that we want to be careful of. When we get to the we just sort of take our time a little bit with that. I don't want that to feel too rushed. And same thing, the ahs that we have, both sopranos and altos on the next page, kind of take their cue from that it's the same figure. It's not exactly the same notes, but it's the same figure. All right? So with that in mind, can we do that whole section one more time? Because I's been going. 2, 3. That's forte. You can be more there. The sopranos are going to start to waft off on their but you can come in there with a little bit more. I'm not going to make the sopranos do that high note again. Let's just go right on no crystal sopranos at 64 and everybody's forte as we come into measure 66, and then we have a retard and a diminuendo. So, and we stay then at that same tempo where we ended up. Dynamic, where we end up at the end of that no crystal stair. We're at that piano dynamic, and we just stick with that. That's the same dynamic that we come in on the next page.
Do you want the sopranos to diminuendo a little faster, so we're sort of getting out of the way of the altos a little bit? But where they're sitting in the crystal stairs?
Yeah, maybe. I think that does make sense. Yeah. Yeah. You can start your diminuendo when you have the 8th notes. Okay? Good. All right. Now we go back to the beginning. I wanted to do that little section. But I think you can have a little bit more weightiness to it, a little more weariness, right? Yeah, right. let's, don't worry about the hum, altos, and you'll just come in on the next, but let's hear one measure before you come in at 9, sopranos. That's it. Watch me there. Yeah, I want to just do this page again. Yeah, so sopranos that pick up to 49, that should really be quite strong, right? This is where the mother is really kind of admonishing almost her son for not taking into account her struggle, right? And sort of just wasting this work that she's done, you know. So that's almost the most emphatic part of this whole piece. And then altos, when you come in there, you keep that same feeling, right? It's not like all of a sudden it becomes this pretty melody. It's a continuation of that idea, all right? So let's take it at right on the word sometimes. I know there's really a pickup to that, but we'll go right on the downbeat of 45. Be ready, circle that word faster so you see that and you make sure you're ready to come with me. And sometimes going in the dark when there ain't been no light. So why don't you turn back? Yeah, so that means altos, you gotta be ready for it. So listen to the notes that the sopranos have. Just do.
We covered that before.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Question?
Are we keeping the tempo of the sopranos there, or are we back?
Yeah, it's still in the slow tempo. Yeah. All right. So let's go with from the sopranos that pick up to 49. To and. So why don't you turn back? Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now. For I still in honey any comment on kind of how we sang it, but when I was talking about that sort of the feeling of the mom in 17, is kind of almost sort of admonishing the son, but you hear that change, her attitude towards him, or her feeling towards him kind of changes on page 18, where the tonality shifts a little bit. It's almost like you see her caring for him more than just, saying, hey, you're not honoring me, but, it's like, okay, I'm here, so you hear that shift, and I think we can respond to that with a warmer tone at that point. So that happens right at, for I still going, honey, right there is where that sort of shift happens. It is pick up to 75, where the tempo says slower, quarter note equals 108. You really hear that in the harmony. Okay. Okay.
So, on page 18, the bottom of that, where we have the forte, do we have a decrescendo starting right there, or where do we start that?
Well, she doesn't write that in, does she? But it does sort of feel like we should get softer. The first place she actually writes decrescendo is all the way on the top of 19.
Yeah, that was a little.
But I think we do come down a little bit, but not maybe as much as we have been. I think we can still, for sure, still stay strong until the altos come in, so they're not coming in sort of out of the blue there. Okay? All right. Good rehearsal tonight, everybody. We got a lot done. Next week, I will probably go back to having a seating chart and doing some experimentation with mixing around a little bit. So keep up the good work, and I'll see you next week.
I just have a question before we leave. The altos are going to have a sectional next Monday before rehearsal. Does anyone know if the building's open at 6 or how to get in?
Send that question to Gina. She will know the answer to that.